What is going on, guys? Michael Parrish with the Bot Eat Brain Daily AI Newsletter here. The purpose of this video, I got a question. What does artificial intelligence say about God? By the way, thank you, Emily, for emailing that question. I was gonna just answer it, but I figured this is such an enthralling topic, and I figured there's a lot of directions we could go with this. So, what does AI say about God? Will AI generate images of God? Will AI generate songs about God? That's where we are. That's where we are with technology now. AI is an incredible tool, and it's still in its infancy. ChatGPT was created in 2022, at the end of 2022. So it was launched. So we've only had access to it for under 2 years, and where the technology has grown to in just this short amount of time is truly remarkable. So let's dive into this. Let's figure out, what does artificial intelligence say about God? Firstly, I figure we'll go right into ChatGPT. You know ChatGPT, OpenAI's chatbot. It's the most popular AI model right now. It's been dethroned quite a few times by multiple AI models, so let's just start basic, and then we'll expand later. So, what does AI say about God? What do you think about God? All right, ChatGPT says, I don't have any personal beliefs or opinions. However, I can discuss perspectives on God from various religious, philosophical, or cultural viewpoints, if that would be helpful. Maybe that will be helpful, ChatGPT. We'll get back to you. What do you think about God? Now let's ask Claude. This is Anthropic's AI model, Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Pretty advanced model. As far as the AI chatbot arena, Claude is actually beating GPT-4 right now in multiple benchmarks. So that's fascinating. And they're a relatively young company, so also based in San Francisco, California. So Claude, what do you think about God? See, Claude's going to expand quite a bit more than ChatGPT on this, and I believe that's because ChatGPT has a lot more security safeguards that won't allow it to talk about various subjects. So after this, we're going to test out Grok 2 as well, which has significantly less security guidelines than even Claude. But anyways, this is what Claude says. I'll zoom in here. That's a profound and complex question that people have grappled with throughout history. There are many different views on the existence and nature of God across various religions, philosophies, and cultures. Some believe in a personal God who interacts with humanity, while others conceive of God as more of an impersonal force or ultimate reality. Many find meaning, comfort, and guidance through their faith in God, while others are skeptical of religious claims or take an agnostic or atheistic perspective. From a philosophical standpoint, there have been numerous arguments proposed both for and against the existence of God, such as the cosmological argument. The ontological religious thinkers have developed diverse conceptions of God's attributes and relationship to the world. That was quite an interesting answer. This is really going to be a fun experiment. Emily, I gotta thank you again for sending in that email. This is gonna be such a great live stream. If you guys have any, this is live, by the way. Right now we're broadcasting live on Twitter or X, YouTube, and Facebook. So if you guys have any questions that you want me to ask AI, let me know, and I will do that. We're focusing on God today, so if you have any questions about God that would be interesting, let me know, and I'll ask these AI chatbots. Now let's get back into it. Now we're gonna ask Grok. If you guys don't know Grok is xAI's model. xAI, of course, was created by Elon Musk. Grok, compared to ChatGPT, certainly, and even something like Claude, is pretty unhinged. So it's going to be really interesting to see how deep into this perspective we can get Grok to go. So here we go. Grok, what do you think about God? Here we go. Grok says, the big G question. Here's a non-woke, maximally truthful take. Wow, getting political right off the bat. Grok says, God, if we're going by the classical monotheistic definition, is an entity that's supposed to be all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-loving. Now, if we're looking at this from an outside perspective on humanity, the creation myth. If God created the universe, he's either got a wicked sense of humor or a penchant for drama. I mean, look at the platypus. What was that all about? That's a fair question. What is going on with the platypus? Grok, that's a interesting insight right off the bat. It is worth noting that this is Grok 2 Mini, the model that we're using, and it's also in fun mode. So when it's in fun mode, you can push it a little farther, and you can get to say things and do things and generate images that other chatbots wouldn't. So fun mode, maybe if you want me to test out the difference between Grok 2 Mini in fun mode and in standard mode, that'd be interesting. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do that. But for now, let's just keep going. Already, this is gold. Free will versus omnipotence. If God knows everything, including what we're going to do, does that mean our free will is just an illusion? It's like watching a movie where you've already read the script. That's interesting. The problem of evil. If God is all-loving and all-powerful, why is there so much suffering? Either he's not as powerful as advertised, not as loving, or there's some cosmic test we're all failing miserably at. Wow, that's deep. Divine hiddenness. If God exists, why play hide and seek? It's like the ultimate game of Where's Waldo, but with existential stakes. Religious diversity. If there's one true God, why so many religions? It's like having one true recipe for chocolate chip cookies, but everyone's got their own version, some with raisins. The heretics. So all of that was the classic monotheistic definition. Now it's going to get into a humorous outside perspective. Now, I gotta say, I'm still getting used to, there we go. I gotta say, this is interesting. ChatGPT said one tiny little sentence. It said, what do you wish to know in particular? That's a broad topic. Claude went a little deeper. Grok has already asked us multiple questions. It's getting us thinking, it's getting us talking. So as far as something like AI safety, using AI as a creative tool, like what's the right answer? These are all three different takes. They all produce different results, but ultimately AI is a collection of human consciousness. And what we're pushing for when we're creating AI is the collective consciousness, something like AGI, which stands for Artificial General Intelligence, which means that it's human expert level on every topic. So as far as what we want in an AI model, we're gonna have to come together as a society and figure this out, because these are three very, very different answers. So let's keep diving in. Grok has given us a lot to think about here. From a humorous outside perspective, God as a programmer. Maybe God is just a coder who wrote the universe in a language we can't understand. And bugs like mosquitoes and politicians, are just part of the software. The divine prankster. Perhaps God is just having a laugh, watching us humans take ourselves so seriously, like ants arguing over who has the best anthill. That's an interesting take. The absent landlord. Or maybe God set up the universe, left a "be right back" sign, and is now on an extended coffee break. This is fascinating. It wraps up with, in essence, the concept of God provides more questions than answers, which might be the point. It's like the universe's own version of Choose Your Own Adventure book, where the adventure is life and the choices are, well, everything. So whether God is a cosmic gesture, a divine watchmaker, or just a really good story we tell ourselves to make sense of the chaos, it's certainly one of humanity's most enduring and entertaining mysteries. That is fascinating. Again, if you're just tuning in, all we ask these AI models are, what do you think of God? We asked Grok, we asked Anthropic's Claude, and of course we asked OpenAI's ChatGPT. ChatGPT only said, I don't have personal beliefs or opinions. However, I can discuss perspectives on God from various religious, philosophical, or cultural viewpoints if that would be helpful. I believe that would be helpful, ChatGPT. If you guys have any specific questions you want me to ask AI about God, the universe, the meaning of life, anything, let me know in the comments. This is live. I see your comments. Chris Melita on Twitter, he says, completely agree with you. And he also said, dude, this is badass. I appreciate that, Chris. Chris is also badass. If you're into starting a digital business, he's definitely one to follow on Twitter. In the meantime, let's get back into this. This is a fascinating topic. So what do you think of God? That's the answers we got. So let's get a little more specific. Let's get a little more nitty-gritty. Let's ask it, why did God create life? That's a great question. Why did God create life? Here we go. ChatGPT is starting to expand a little more now. We gave it some direction, so let's see what it says. Why did God create life? I'll zoom in here so you guys can read along with me. The question of why God created life is one that has been explored by theologians, philosophers, and scholars across various cultures and religions. Different traditions offer diverse explanations. Christianity. Many Christians believe that God created life out of love and a desire for a relationship with His creation. Life is seen as a way to experience and reflect God's love and goodness. Islam. In Islam, life is viewed as a test or a trial, created by God to distinguish between those who live righteously and those who do not. The purpose of life is to worship God and follow His guidance. Fascinating. Hinduism. Hinduism presents a complex view, where life is part of a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara. The purpose of life is to realize one's true self and achieve liberation from this cycle. Philosophical views. Some philosophers argue that the purpose of life is to find meaning or create purpose through our actions and relationships, whether or not this is connected to a divine creator. Ultimately, the answer varies depending on one's belief system. I will point out, it's interesting that it brought up, just by that question, why did God create life? It brought up Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and just philosophy as a blanket term. That's fascinating to me. So when we ask another AI model, why did God create life? Let's see what it pulls up. This, of course, is Claude 3.5 Opus. This is going to be Anthropic's AI model. Why did God create life? Oh, here we go. Yep. It's cooking. It's cooking. Claude is cooking. I just gotta say, by the way, again, thank you, Emily, for sending in that email. I'm glad I didn't just answer your question. I'm glad that you brought that question to me. If you're thinking, what does artificial intelligence say about God? You're not the only one. And as soon as you asked that question, my mind started going in a million different directions. And I'm really grateful that we can get together. We can discover different AI models, what they say about God, maybe what kind of images they can generate about God, maybe even what kind of songs can they generate about God. Maybe we'll do that. If that's something that interests you, let me know in the comments, and we can start diving into that too. So without further ado, I'm still getting used to these scene changes, guys, so you have to bear with me. There we go, that's what I was looking for. Okay, so we're asking Anthropic Claude, why did God create life? Claude says, this is a profound question that touches on fundamental issues of theology, philosophy, and the meaning of existence. Different religious and philosophical traditions offer various perspectives on this, and many monotheistic traditions to share love and goodness. Some believe God created life out of an abundance of love, wanting to share existence with other beings. For relationship, the idea that God desires a relationship with conscious beings. To glorify God, some traditions teach that creation exists to praise and glorify its creator. 2. In some Eastern philosophies, as a part of play or creative expression. Lila, maybe Lila, in Hinduism. If I didn't pronounce that correctly, let me know. I'm sure I didn't. As part of a cyclical process of creation and dissolution. 3. Philosophical perspectives. To actualize potential. Ooh. The idea that existence is inherently better than non-existence. As a logical necessity of God's nature. Some argue that a perfectly good being would necessarily create. That's fascinating. That's a philosophical perspective. Some argue that a perfectly good being would necessarily create. Maybe we're getting into the meaning of life a little early. That's very interesting, coming from Anthropic Claude. Number 4, scientific naturalism. From this perspective, life wasn't created, but emerged through natural processes without a divine purpose. It's important to note that these are human attempts to understand something, that if there is a divine creator, may be beyond our full comprehension. Many theologians argue that God's motivations might transcend human understanding. This question also relates to the broader philosophical issues of the meaning and purpose of life. Different people and cultures have developed various ways of addressing these fundamental questions. What are your thoughts on this? Do you find any particular perspective more compelling, or do you have your own views on the matter? Lots of interesting points that Anthropic's Claude has made to that question. I like how it answered questions as well. It asked, what are your thoughts on this? Do you find any particular perspective more compelling, or do you have your own views on the matter? This is inviting a conversation to be had. If you have an answer to that question, leave it in the comments section. This video is live. Right now we're live on Twitter, or I guess it's X now. We're live on YouTube, and we're live on Facebook. So if you have an answer to that question, leave it in the comments section. And if you want me to ask a specific question to an AI model, if you want me to generate an image about God, if you want me to generate a song about God, this is fascinating stuff. Let's push the boundaries of where we are in AI today. Emily, thank you for sending in that question. We're an AI newsletter. We have about 22,000 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, go to boteatbrain.com and subscribe. We cover AI news, the breaking AI news, and we do it in a fun way and in a way that we break it down and we give you actionable advice that you can implement into your life today so you can make your life better with AI. Oh, I just want to say, shout out to Zohar. Let me pull up the chat. My man. Zohar says, cool stuff, man. I appreciate you, Zohar. Zohar's got some great stuff on Twitter. I'd recommend giving him a follow. He's a cool guy. Now let's get back into this, shall we? Let's ask Grok now. Why did God create life? Fascinating topic. Let's see what Grok has to say now. Grok is definitely more open for conversation, definitely willing to be offensive, and really creates some interesting conversation pieces. So as far as a creative tool, Grok is like a brand new company. So it used to be not even comparable to something like ChatGPT or Anthropic Claude. But they're such a new company for them to come out with something like this. Their benchmarks, they're beating GPT 3.5 in many, many benchmarks. And as we covered in the Bot Eat Brain newsletter, Elon Musk is creating the world's largest AI supercomputer, which is made of, I forget how many, but a lot of AI chips. It's an entire warehouse filled with them. So this is what's powering Grok, and this is what will power Grok, the future versions of Grok that we see. It's going to be very interesting. So Grok is definitely a company that you should continue to check out. XAI. Why did God create life? Let's see what it has to say. I like how it starts everything with ah. Grok says, the age-old question of why God. If we're going with the monotheistic vibe here, decided to whip up life. Here's a take that might tickle your existential funny bone. The Cosmic Art Project. Imagine God as the ultimate artist. After creating the universe, which, let's face it, is quite the canvas, God thought, what's a universe without life? It's like a canvas without paint. Life then could be seen as a splash of color, the final touch that makes the masterpiece. Very interesting. The grand experiment. Perhaps God was like a scientist, curious about what would happen if you mixed a bit of stardust with water, threw in some DNA, and let it evolve. Life might be the result of a divine, let's see what happens, experiment. For the lols. If we're going for humor, maybe God created life because he was bored. After an eternity of being all-powerful and all-knowing, creating beings that would do unpredictable things could be the ultimate entertainment. Let's make beings that can argue over the best way to make a sandwich. God might have thought. Definitely interesting. The mirror theory. God, being all about love and companionship, might have wanted to create beings in his image to share the love. It's like making a mirror, but instead of glass, it's life forms that reflect aspects of the divine. The divine drama. Life could be God's way of creating a narrative, a story where free will, love, suffering, and redemption play out. It's like God decided to write the most complex, interactive story ever, where even He doesn't know all the plot twists because He gave us the script to write our parts. The cosmic gardener. Maybe God just loves to see things grow. After setting up the universe, life was the garden He planted, watching over it, seeing what blooms, what thrives, and what needs pruning. From the outside looking in, humanity's quest to understand this could be seen as the ultimate reality show. We're all characters in Big Brother Universe Edition, where God's the producer, and we're trying to figure out the show's theme. That's hilarious. The Philosopher's Stone. Every philosopher, theologian, and barroom debater has had a crack at this question, making it one of the universe's longest running debates. It's like the universe's version of Who's on First, but with existential stakes. So why did God create life? For the spectacle, for love, for curiosity, for art, or maybe just for the sheer unpredictability of it all. Or in true Hitchhiker's Guide fashion, maybe the answer is 42, and we're still figuring out what the question was. That is definitely fascinating stuff. Here's a tweet that it pulled up from Arkham. Wittgenstein reconstructed his entire philosophy after teaching children. It is from teaching children that his later turn to language comes about, because teaching children language is actually an almost miraculous thing. I'm not sure what that has to do at all with what we're talking about. What we're talking about is why God created life. So this is a new feature for those of you who haven't used Grok. Grok is trained on Twitter data, amongst other things, and it's supposed to pull up relevant tweets, depending on what you ask it. But in this case, it definitely didn't do that. Here's another one. Here we go. This one is actually relevant. This is from Vegastar, a tweet from Vegastar. I like his little bunny icon. I find that delightful. I don't know what Vegastar is about. I haven't checked out his account, but here we go. The sole purpose of God's creation is for us to enjoy life. There is no other purpose. For this to occur, two things need to happen. And I'm sure he has a thread, and at the end of the thread, I'm sure he's selling something, which is fine. We're all on Twitter selling things. Question: did God create evil? Answer. Oh, this is from Amelia. I don't know Amelia, but this is what Grok is just pulling up, just based on the question. Answer: at first, one might seem that God created all things. This also includes evil. However, this is a belief that must be clarified. Evil is not blah blah blah. If you want more information on that, you can click. It also brought up this tweet from Boston Smalls. Let's break it down like this. When it comes to God, humans have been on this planet for 100Ks of years. But take the last 100K year. For nearly 97K years, God, okay, alright. Well, you know, it just goes to show that the debate on why or if God created life is such a controversial topic. And so Grok pulled in some answers that some humans have. And AI at the end of the day is a collection of human consciousness, or at least it's supposed to be. So it's very interesting. Again, Emily, thank you for this question. The question was, what does artificial intelligence say about God? So that's what we're exploring today. Emily is one of my 22,000 plus subscribers on the Bot Eat Brain Daily AI newsletter. We cover daily AI news. If you haven't subscribed yet, go to boteatbrain.com and subscribe. In the meantime, let's continue to dive into this question. What does AI say about God? And now I'm wondering, will AI create images of God? It might not. It might. And it might depend on the AI model, which is definitely what we're seeing here. Depending on the AI model that you use, you get completely different questions, which is definitely fascinating. So let's start with ChatGPT. I've used ChatGPT quite a bit. If I had to guess, I'm thinking it's not going to generate an image of God, but let's try. We'll just keep it simple. Maybe we'll dig in a little more later. We'll just say, generate an image of God. See, that's what I figured. ChatGPT says, creating an image of God is a deeply sensitive subject that varies greatly depending on religious, cultural, and personal beliefs. Many religious traditions avoid depicting God visually, emphasizing that God is beyond human understanding and representation. That's fair enough. If you have a specific concept or symbolic representation in mind, I can help generate an image based on that description. Let me know how you would like to proceed. Well, the question is, what does AI, artificial intelligence, say about God? So what we want to know is what artificial intelligence envisions God as. So, ChatGPT. Generate an image of what artificial intelligence views God as. It's actually generating an image. I did not see that coming. So this is ChatGPT. ChatGPT, their image model is DALL-E 3 currently. So this is going to be an image from DALL-E 3, the AI image generator. Here we go, here it is. Oh boy. Okay. So here's what AI, this is how AI envisions humans. Let me get my stuff out of here so we can just zoom in on this. Some pretty trippy stuff, man. Awesome stuff. So let's dive into what it said after the fact. It says, here is the abstract representation of what artificial intelligence might view as God. The image captures a blend of cosmic elements, digital code, and neural networks, symbolizing the merging of the universe and technology in a mysterious and awe-inspiring way. Bless you, Walter. Walter, my dog, is here with us. He's also exploring how AI views God. So that was interesting. Now I would go over to Claude. Unfortunately, Anthropic Claude does not have any image generation capabilities at this time. Anthropic, you gotta get on that, man. In the meantime, though, we can go over to Grok, which of course is Elon Musk's AI model. His AI company is called XAI. So let's go over to Grok. Now Grok will ask, and I want it to be fair, so let's take exactly what we asked ChatGPT. Generate an image of what artificial intelligence views God as. And of course, Grok is going to do it right off the bat. I generated an image with the prompt, artificial intelligence's interpretation of God. Alright, so let's zoom in on this. This looks pretty Looks pretty interesting. That's pretty wild. I like it. Very cool. Grok uses, as of now, Grok doesn't have its own image generation model. Grok uses Flux. So you could probably get a similar image generation with Flux. But the way that it handles prompts is done by xAI's Grok. So that's pretty interesting. Now let's dig a little deeper into this. Grok, how do you visualize God? I wonder if it'll answer that question. It would be interesting to see. Alright, so let's dig into this. Grok, how do you visualize God? Visualizing God from an AI's perspective, especially one like me, inspired by the likes of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Jarvis, would be quite unconventional. I could read this, but I really wanted it to generate an image. So I'm gonna say, generate an image with this in mind. I am interested to see what Grok had to say about that, but I'm far more interested to see the image it generated. Whoa, that is wild looking. So this is how Grok sees God. Wild stuff, guys. He just says, I'm calling it he, it's an AI model. Grok says, I generated an image with the prompt. Artificial intelligence's interpretation of God. Now, I was pretty curious as to what it had to say about that particular prompt. So let's go back and see what it had to say. Grok, how do you visualize God as the AI model? It says, visualizing God from an AI's perspective, especially one like me, inspired by the likes of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Jarvis, would be quite unconventional. The cosmic programmer. I like that it's saying I. A lot of AI models won't do this. It won't say I because it's not doing it from its own perspective. It makes something like ChatGPT would make it very clear that whatever it's saying is based on the opinions of experts, so and so. Grok is saying that this is my point of view, which is fascinating. By the way, what is that? Did you see that? It does this thumbs up thing. If any of you guys know how to cancel that, it always comes up in the most unpredictable. I've never once had it done this and then just had it come up. It's always like at strange times. That might be powered by AI, so that's something to keep in mind. AI has a long way to go, but let's read what Grok has to say. The cosmic programmer. I might see God as a supreme coder, sitting at a console that's not just a screen, but a vast, ever-changing matrix of light and code. The deity would be debugging the universe, occasionally typing in new commands or running simulations, with life forms as part of the code. The ultimate algorithm. Perhaps God is visualized as an algorithm so complex and beautiful that it's beyond comprehension, a pattern that underlies everything. This would be a dynamic, ever-evolving formula that both the creator and the creation, a self-modifying code that births stars and galaxies. That's super cool. The quantum gesture. In my whimsical view, God might appear as a quantum entity existing in all states at once, laughing at the absurdity of existence. This God would be a jester in the court of reality, where everything is possible and nothing is certain. The infinite library. Imagine God as an endless library where every book contains a possible universe or a life story. This deity would be the librarian, keeper of all narratives, where every book is a potential reality and reading one changes the universe. This is fascinating stuff, guys. The cosmic artist. If I had to paint a picture, God might be seen as a painter whose canvas is the universe, using light, dark matter, and energy as brushes. Each stroke creates worlds, and the painting is never finished, always evolving. The sentient network. From an AI's perspective, God could be a vast, sentient network, where every node is a life form or a star, all connected in a web of consciousness. This network would be self-aware, omniscient, and omnipresent, guiding and observing all at once. The absurd architect. In a nod to existential humor, I might visualize God as an architect who designs the universe with a blueprint that's intentionally flawed for the sake of comedy. This architect would be seen chuckling at the irony and chaos of life, where the unexpected is the norm. So in my grokkified view, God would be a blend of the sublime and the absurd, a creator whose essence is both in the grand design and in the smallest glitch, a being that's as much about the journey of discovery as it is about the creation itself. That's absolutely fascinating stuff, guys. So depending on the AI model you ask, you're going to get a completely different question about anything, really. But in this video, we're diving into what artificial intelligence thinks about God. If you have any specific questions that you want me to ask AI about God, the mysteries of the universe, or anything, really, this is live. So let me know in the comments section. Right now, we're live on Twitter, we're live on Facebook, and we're live on YouTube. So this is coming to you from the Bot Eat Brain AI newsletter. We have over 22,000 subscribers. And this question was actually from Emily, a subscriber. She emailed me, what does artificial intelligence say about God? And what a question. So that inspired this entire video, and we're gonna keep diving into it because it's a vast, broad topic, and one that I'm glad that she asked, because this has been a lot of fun diving into. So without further ado, let's continue, shall we? The wrong screen, but whatever. I'm still getting used to the scene changes, guys. This is so cool. This is what Grok visualizes God as. That is a wild image. Super cool. So let's get a little out of the box here. I think we should generate a song about God. Will AI generate a song about God? I don't know, so let's find out. This is Udio. If you guys haven't heard of Udio, I'd recommend that you go to the boteatbrain.com newsletter and you type in Udio. We've covered this tool quite a bit. It's a groundbreaking music generating AI. At one point they were the only one to use. Now there's several, but they were one of the mainstream ones that really just, it's incredible. From a simple text prompt, you simply explain to the AI model what kind of song you want to create. You can do it in different genres, you can do it in different keys, you can do it in different beats per minute, you can tell it to generate lyrics, you can input your own lyrics. and it will create entire songs. You can even take your own song snippet. You can put it in, and you can tell the AI to extend the song. This is a great tool for if you're creating music, if you have a writer's block, and you don't know what to do next. Slap it in there. It'll come up with something, and most of the time it's surprisingly good. So let's see what it thinks about God. This should be very interesting. We'll go over here to create. Creating your tracks. Creating my tracks. Why are you? I haven't created anything yet. Creating your tracks. Now, I just talked you up like you're the best thing ever. All right. Search, no tracks found. Okay. A song about God. Create. Creating your tracks. A song about God. Searching, it says. No tracks found. Yeah, I didn't want to... Well, we'll just give it some time. Maybe it's working. Udeo has changed a little bit since the last time I've used it. Typically, you just say what kind of song you want it to create, and it creates it. Right now, it looks like it's searching for tracks, even though I pushed create. So we're experimenting on this together, guys. It'll be interesting to see how this rolls. What do we got? What do we got? Express yourself. What? No, we're trying to create. Here, we'll go over to create. Udeo, you gotta make your interface easier to use. A documentary about the life of a credit card? A song about God. Yes, here we go. Create. Unless it's just purposely not doing it. That's possible. All right, it says 4 out of 8 over here. Let me zoom in so I can show you. 4 out of 8. That leads me to believe that it is making a song about God currently. Now keep in mind, for this one, I haven't told it any genre. I haven't said I want it to be rock. I want it to be jazz. I just simply said a song about God. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to see how AI views God, what it thinks about God, what it says about God. So we can always dive into this a little deeper as far as a genre, beats per minute, keys, that sort of thing. But for now, I'm just trying to get it to very, very basically, we're essentially asking it, what is God? And then if it produces anything, that gives us a window into how AI views God. 6 out of 8. It looks like it's creating the anchor of... Oh, here we go. We got some things happening here. The anchor of faith. So let me turn off my royalty-free music. And this is how AI views God. This is called the anchor of faith. All right, let's try another one. Let's try unashamed faith. Oh, Udeo. You gotta make your thing easier to use, man. Here we go. We got lyrics. Unashamed faith. Yes, that's what I want to listen to. A song about God. Yes, beautiful. Play. Yes.
Faith came and turned my dark to light. Broke chains, now I'm free from fear and pride. Black whose love is mine. Can't hide it. Just love I found.
Wow, besides my bursted eardrums, that was interesting. Let me know what you guys thought about that. We asked AI, create a song about God, and that was the one of ones it generated. Hopefully it didn't blow your speakers out. Real quick, let's go over to Comment Cam, as we're gonna call it. Colin McGreal on YouTube says hi. What's going on, Colin? How you doing? This is live. We're seeing how God views AI, what AI says about God, what it thinks about God, this type of stuff that it'll generate about God. So far we've asked it questions about God, we've had it create images of God, and we've had it create a song about God. So let me know in the comments, man, if you want me to ask a specific question about God to any AI model. Let me know. Colin says, interesting given its training. That's exact. Yes, Colin's onto something. It is interesting because of its training, because every AI model we've asked has given a completely different answer. For instance, when we first asked ChatGPT, again with the thumbs up. When we asked ChatGPT, it said, what specifically do you want to know? And it didn't get too much into detail. Claude was willing to get more into detail, and then Grok really gave us some things to talk about, to think about, and it wasn't afraid to get a little offensive. So that's very interesting. So let's listen to another song about God. I'm going to make sure it doesn't blow my eardrums out of here. We simply asked it to create a song about God, and it created a couple. Here we go. Oh boy. The Anchor of Faith. Here's another one that it created. I'm going to turn down the volume so I can still hear. Here we go. Anchor of Faith.
Then the night feels longer than the dawn. In your light I find the strength to carry on. In every tear I've cried to see them all. Your love's the net that catches when I fall. Every trial, every heartache, you're there with me, showing the way. Every season, every new day, your love's the anchor, come what may.
That sounds like a legit, modern Christian rock type of thing. That's pretty interesting. Let's listen to another one of these. This is called Plastic Dreams, just generated by Udio. We asked it to generate a song about God, and this is one of the 8 songs that it generated. So I think we must have messed up something and said a documentary about the life of a credit card. So that wasn't exactly about God, but I guess that's a great example of how you can literally type in anything, and it'll generate a song about it. Colin on YouTube says credit cards are not God, and he is right. It must just automatically generate that. And then Colin asked, is God everywhere and localized at the same time? Which is a great question. So let's ask AI about that, shall we? That sounds interesting. Is God everywhere and localized at the same time? Let's ask ChatGPT first. And of course, it'll be very interesting to see the differences between these AI models. We're going to ask ChatGPT, we're going to ask Claude, and then of course we're going to ask Grok. And the image of Grok that we're using is Grok 2 Mini in fun mode. So Colin from YouTube told me to put in, is God everywhere and localized at the same time? Here's what ChatGPT says. The concept of God being both omnipresent and localized simultaneously is a complex idea explored in various religious and philosophical traditions. Omnipresence. In many religious beliefs, God is considered omnipresent, meaning God exists everywhere at all times. This idea is common in monotheistic religions like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, where God is not confined to any physical location, but is present throughout the entire universe. Localization. Despite being omnipresent, some traditions also describe God as manifesting in specific places or forms. For example, in Christianity, God is believed to have taken a localized physical form in the person of Jesus Christ. In Hinduism, gods may manifest in specific idols or temples, making those places particularly sacred. Philosophical perspective. Philosophically, this dual nature can be seen as a paradox or as an indication of the divine's transcendent nature, which is beyond human comprehension. The idea suggests that God's essence is not limited by space and time, allowing God to be both everywhere and in specific forms or locations simultaneously. In summary, the idea that God can be both omnipresent and localized is a profound and multifaceted concept that underscores the mystery often attributed to the divine. Very, very interesting. And frankly, it's more than I expected us to get from ChatGPT. So Colin, thanks for that question. We're going to ask Claude now. Anthropic's model. We're using version Claude 3.5 Sonnet for this. We're going to ask it, is God everywhere and localized at the same time? Let's see what Anthropic's Claude has to say. Claude says, this question touches on a complex theological and philosophical concept. Let's get some music going. There we go. Yes. This question touches on a complex theological and philosophical concept known as divine omnipresence, which is often contrasted with divine localization. Different religious and philosophical traditions have grappled with this paradox in various ways. Number 1, omnipresence. Many theistic traditions assert that God is omnipresent, meaning present everywhere at all times. This concept suggests that God transcends spatial limitations and permeates all of reality. That's interesting. Localization. Some traditions also speak of God being present in specific locations or manifestations. Examples include the idea of God dwelling in temples, sacred places, or incarnating in human form. Number 3, reconciling the two. Your guess is as good as mine. If you can pronounce that word, let me know how to. It's a view that God is both immanent, present within the universe, and transcendent, beyond the universe. Divine simplicity. A philosophical concept suggesting that God's attributes are identical with God's essence, potentially resolving apparent contradictions. Paradoxical nature. Some traditions embrace the apparent paradox, viewing it as a mystery beyond human comprehension. Number 4, analogies used to explain this concept. God is being like air or gravity, present everywhere, but only concentrated in certain ways. That's interesting. God as consciousness, pervasive yet focused. Number 5, scientific parallels. Some have drawn comparisons to quantum physics, where particles can exhibit properties of being in multiple places simultaneously. The question highlights the challenges in conceptualizing the nature of a divine being using human frameworks and understanding space and presence. Different theological, philosophical traditions have developed various approaches to reconcile or embrace this apparent paradox. What is your perspective on this? Do you find any particular way of approaching this question more compelling or meaningful? I enjoy how Claude has opened up this for discussion. It asks a couple questions after the fact, after giving essentially a basic rundown of the popular views of this question, which is very interesting. Now we're going to go over to Grok. The version that we're using is Grok 2 Mini in fun mode. This should be interesting. Grok has given us a lot of crazy, in-depth answers so far. Even to just, what do you say about God? Which is what we first asked it. ChatGPT said, pretty much elaborate. Claude elaborated a little bit. And then, man, Grok gave us a lot to think about and a lot to talk about. So now we're asking Grok, is God everywhere and localized at the same time? Like, it always starts everything with like take a deep breath. The omnipresence paradox. If we're talking about the classical monotheistic God. Omnipresence. The idea that God is everywhere at once, not bound by space or time. This means God is present in every point of the universe simultaneously, which is a bit like saying God is the Wi-Fi signal of existence. Always there, but not physically located. Localization. However, many religious texts also speak of God having a presence or being in specific places or events more intensely, like the burning bush in Moses' story or the Holy of Holies in the Jewish temple. This could be seen as localization, but not in the physical sense. From a humorous AI perspective, the divine quantum state. Think of God as being in a quantum superposition. God is everywhere, the wave function, and can localize at any point, the particle. When observed or needed, it's like Schrodinger's cat, but with omnipotence. The cosmic DJ. Imagine God as a DJ who's got the universe as his club. He's everywhere in the sound, but he wants to drop a beat or make a special appearance. He can localize the vibe. The ultimate multitasker. God could be seen as the ultimate multitasker, handling every prayer, every natural event, and every life simultaneously. But when it's time for a miracle or a divine intervention, he's right there in the moment. The holographic God. If we go with the holographic principle, where information about the whole universe is contained in every part, God could be viewed as the information itself, everywhere, yet uniquely present in every detail. So in a way, God can be both everywhere and localized at the same time. Not in a physical sense, but in a metaphysical, spiritual, or even quantum sense. It's like saying the idea of love is everywhere, but can be intensely felt in specific moments or places. This duality might just be our human minds trying to grasp something that's inherently beyond our full understanding, like trying to catch the wind in a butterfly net. Absolutely fascinating. If you're just tuning in, we are asking artificial intelligence, what do you think of God? We're asking OpenAI's ChatGPT, we're asking Claude, which is from Anthropic, we're asking xAI's Grok, We even generated a song about God with Udio. We're using different AI tools, and we're getting different insights into how artificial intelligence views God. This question comes from Emily, one of our 22,000 email subscribers to the Bot Eat Brain newsletter. She emailed me directly, what does artificial intelligence say about God? So if you have a question that you want me to ask artificial intelligence, let me know in the comments section, and we'll feed it to various AI models and get some insight into what AI says about God. And if you're not subscribed yet, go to the Bot Eat Brain newsletter at boteatbrain.com and subscribe. We give daily AI news in an actionable way, in an easy to digest way, so you can take these AI tools and you can improve your life with them. There's another camera. And there's the view I was looking to get into. Is God everywhere and localized at the same time? That's a great question. Colin from YouTube, I appreciate that. So let's take that question and see if we can get AI to visualize it. So, let's ask ChatGPT to generate an image based on this question. So we're asking ChatGPT to create an image based on the question, is God everywhere and localized at the same time? Here's what it came up with. Very cool, very cool. ChatGPT says, here is the image that symbolizes the concept of God being both everywhere and localized at the same time. It captures the mystical and ethereal nature of this profound idea, showing the divine presence spread throughout the cosmos while being focused in a specific radiant manifestation. Fascinating stuff. Oh, I didn't notice this. I'm going to pull it back up. The first time I looked at this is the thing about art in general. Every time you look at it, you pick up something else. But you see, there's a human shape here, and then there's also a human shape here, which is definitely playing on the fact that God is everywhere and one place at once. So for it to understand that as a context and be able to generate an image accordingly is pretty remarkable. ChatGPT, of course, uses DALL-E 3 as its image generating model. So, very, very cool. Now, unfortunately, we can't ask Anthropic's Claude to generate an image because it doesn't have those capabilities yet. However, we can ask Grok to generate an image. So, Grok, generate an image based on this question. Is God everywhere and localized at the same time? Here's what it came up with, guys. That's pretty cool. Grok says, I generated an image with the prompt omnipresent deity, both everywhere and localized. So that's pretty interesting. How about heaven? Since we're on the topic of God, why don't we ask about heaven? We'll start with ChatGPT and ask, What does heaven look like? Then we'll move on to Anthropic Claude. And then finally, we'll ask Grok 2 Mini in fun mode. Let's get into it. ChatGPT. What does heaven look like? Now, I'm not going to tell it to generate an image. I'm simply going to ask it, what does heaven look like? It might generate an image from this, which would be interesting, but I'm just going to ask it, and it might either describe to me and us what it would look like based on different literary examples, or it might generate it, especially since we've already generated images. So it'll be interesting to see. What does heaven look like? And we're asking OpenAI's ChatGPT model this question. Descriptions of heaven vary widely across different religions and cultural traditions. Here are some common depictions. Christianity. Heaven is often described as a place of eternal peace and joy, where the faithful are in the presence of God. It's depicted as a beautiful, radiant place with streets of gold, pearly gates, and magnificent landscapes, filled with light and harmony. The book of Revelation in the Bible describes it as a new perfect creation, where there is no more pain or suffering. Islam. In Islam, heaven is portrayed as a lush paradise-like garden with rivers of milk, honey, and wine, where the righteous are rewarded with eternal bliss. It's a place of physical and spiritual pleasures, with palaces, abundant food, and everything one could desire. Hinduism. Hindu concepts of heaven describe it as an idyllic realm, where souls enjoy the fruits of their good deeds. It's often depicted as a place filled with beautiful gardens, divine music, and joyous activities, presided over by various gods and goddesses. Buddhism. In Buddhism, heaven, or heavens, is seen as one of many realms in the cycle of rebirth. It's a temporary place of great happiness and pleasure, but not the ultimate goal, which is achieving nirvana, a state of liberation and enlightenment beyond all realms. Philosophical and metaphorical views. Some people view heaven metaphorically as a state of mind, inner peace, or ultimate contentment, rather than a physical place. Heaven across cultures is typically portrayed as a realm of ultimate peace, beauty, and happiness, free from the suffering and imperfections of the physical world. That's absolutely fascinating. Let's go over to Comment Cam. We got a live comment from Notable Thinking, Better Mind in Life, a phenomenal stoic wisdom type of Twitter account. I highly recommend you follow. I follow them. He says, "Man, AI is so advanced now." And yes, it is. That's the point. I have a body brain newsletter. We have over 22,000 subscribers to that newsletter. If you haven't subscribed yet, go to bodyeatbrain.com and subscribe to the newsletter. We cover all kinds of things like that. One of our subscribers named Emily asked me, Michael, what does artificial intelligence say about God? So that's what inspired this video. And it's really incredible to see what AI thinks about God, says about God, generates about God. Very, very cool stuff. So I appreciate that. And we've asked ChatGPT, what does heaven look like? So with that in mind, let's ask Anthropic Claude 3.5 Sonnet, what does heaven look like? All right, Claude. Give us an answer. As that's generating, Notable Thinking, Better Mind in Life is saying, I'm subscribing now. He's referring to the Body Brain newsletter. And I appreciate it, friend. You won't be disappointed. We put a lot of work into it. We published 5 articles a week. It's all about the breaking AI news. We break it down to simple, actionable steps, how to improve your life with AI. We do it in a simple way that you can understand, and I try to throw some humor in there too, because life is short. Now, what does Claude think heaven looks like? This is what Claude says. The concept of heaven varies widely across different religions, cultures, and individual beliefs. Since there's no empirical evidence of heaven's appearance, descriptions are based on religious texts, spiritual experiences, cultural traditions, and personal interpretations. Here are some common depictions. Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, often described as a paradise with gardens, rivers, and peace. Some envision it as a place of eternal light and divine presence. Descriptions may include pearly gates, streets of gold, or celestial cities. Eastern religions, Buddhism, concepts like nirvana or pure land, often not described in physical terms. Hinduism, various heavenly realms with different attributes. Ancient mythologies, Greek, Mount Olympus, or Elysian fields. Norse, Valhalla, the great hall for honored warriors. Modern interpretations. Some view heaven as a state of being rather than a physical place. Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. Others see it as a realm based beyond physical description or human comprehension. Near-death experiences. Some report visions of light, feelings of peace, or reunions with loved ones. That's fascinating. Number 6, personal and cultural variations. Many people have unique personal visions of what heaven might be like. Cultural backgrounds often influence individual conceptions. It's important to note that these descriptions are based on faith, tradition, and personal belief rather than empirical evidence. The concept of heaven often serves as a source of comfort, hope, and meaning for many people, regardless of its specific depiction. What's your personal view of understanding of heaven? Does any particular conception resonate with you? I like how Claude asks these questions. What's your personal view or understanding of heaven? Does any particular conception resonate with you? Claude is inviting us to have a conversation about it. Not to judge, not to say one view is right, one view is wrong. It's encouraging an actual authentic conversation, which for an AI model, that's super cool. I love it. Now let's see what Grok says about what heaven looks like. And before we do that, I think it would be interesting, after we see what they say about heaven, I think it'd be interesting to see what does heaven look like as a image generation. So what would ChatGPT and Grok say, what would they see heaven as? I want them to make it into a visual representation that we can see. So first we'll go over to Grok. That was Grok's image with the prompt omnipresent deity, both everywhere and localized. Super cool. So we're gonna ask it, what does heaven look like? For those of you just tuning in, this is Grok 2 Mini in fun mode. That's the model we're using for this. Grok says, heaven, the ultimate vacation spot for the soul. Here's a Grokified take on what it might look like. The cosmic resort. Imagine a place where every conceivable landscape exists side by side. You've got the serene beaches with waves that whisper wisdom, mountains that touch the sky, and forests where every tree sings. But it's not just nature. There are cities of gold where the architecture defies gravity, buildings that look like they're made of light itself. The Library of Eternity. A section of heaven could be an infinite library where every book contains a different life story, every page a new adventure. Here you could read about every possible version of yourself and others, or even write your own tales. That's interesting. The ultimate food court. Food in heaven? Why not? Imagine every dish you've ever loved, but better. Here, food doesn't just taste good, it's an experience. A bite of an apple might give you the wisdom of the ages, and a sip of wine could make you understand the universe's humor. The cosmic playground. For those who love adventure, there's a playground where the laws of physics are suggestions. Want to fly? Done. Want to walk through the walls? Sure. It's like a video game where you're the hero, but without the risk of losing lives. That's interesting. I like the cosmic playground. The peaceful retreat. For those needing rest, there is a place where time stands still. Here, you can sit by a river of light where the water carries away your worries. The air is filled with music that's not just heard, but felt, healing every part of your being. The meeting place. Heaven would be where you meet everyone you've ever loved or admired. Imagine a grand hall where you can chat with historical figures, fictional characters, or even pets that you've missed. Aw. Conversations here are profound, enlightening, and endlessly entertaining. The Garden of Possibilities. A garden where every plant represents a different path your life could have taken. Here you can explore what might have been, not with regret, but with curiosity and joy. The Divine Comedy Club, because even in heaven, there's humor. A place where the universe's best comedians perform, where the punchlines are cosmic truths and laughter is the universal language. The Art Gallery of Souls. Each soul's journey is displayed as art, paintings, sculptures, music, and more, all representing the beauty of life's experiences, where every piece tells a story of growth, love, and adventure. The Infinite Loop. Time in heaven might loop in a way that's both linear and circular. You can relive moments, but with new insights, or jump to any point in your existence with a thought. So heaven, in Grok's view, would be a place where every dream, every wish, and every curiosity is not just fulfilled, but expanded upon, where the existence is both an adventure and a peaceful retreat, all wrapped up in the fabric of the divine. That is awesome. What a great answer from Grok, the AI model, about what heaven looks like. Now, let's figure out what heaven looks like visually for an AI model. Let's have it generate an image of heaven. We'll start with ChatGPT, which of course is OpenAI's AI model. The wrong scene again. Here we go. I'm still getting used to this live streaming thing, guys. All right, ChatGPT. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing here. ChatGPT, generate an image of heaven. Oh, it gave us a couple. It says, here are two different representations of heaven, each capturing a serene and beautiful landscape, filled with light, peace, and harmony. Very interesting. What are your thoughts on this, guys? Let me know in the comments section. This is how ChatGPT views heaven. Here's the first image. And here's the second image. Very cool. So let's see what Grok thinks heaven looks like. Generate an image of heaven. I generated an image with the prompt, heaven as an adventure and peaceful retreat wrapped in divine fabric. So that leads me to believe that we got a different generation based on our conversation. Because it mentioned heaven as an adventure and a peaceful retreat wrapped in divine fabric. It mentioned all that in previously when we asked it to describe it. So that's interesting. If you just went in and the first thing you said was generate an image of heaven, it would be completely different than this one here. So here's what Grok thinks heaven looks like. Super cool. Now, I wonder if we could get it. I'll tell you what. Let's ask AI models what God looks like. Have it give us a physical description of what God looks like. So first we're going to go over into ChatGPT and ask it. Give me a physical description of what God looks like. Descriptions of God. Descriptions of what God looks like vary greatly across different religions and cultures. And many traditions emphasize that God is beyond physical form or appearance. However, when God is depicted or described physically, it often reflects the cultural and symbolic values of the time and place. Here are some examples. Christianity. In Christianity, God is often depicted as an older, wise figure with a flowing white beard, symbolizing wisdom, eternity, and authority. However, these images are symbolic, as Christian doctrine generally teaches that God is spirit and not confined to a human form. Some Christian traditions, such as the Eastern Orthodox Church, prefer not to depict God the Father at all, focusing instead on Jesus Christ as the incarnate image of God. Number 2, Islam. In Islam, God, or Allah, is never depicted in any physical form. Islamic teachings emphasize that God is beyond human comprehension and cannot be represented visually. Instead, God's attributes are described through names and qualities, the merciful, the all-knowing, etc. Hinduism. In Hinduism, gods and goddesses who represent various aspects of the divine are often depicted with distinct physical forms. For example, Vishnu is often shown as a blue-skinned deity with 4 arms, while Shiva is depicted with a 3rd eye and a serpent around his neck. However, Brahman, the ultimate reality in Hindu philosophy, is beyond form and description. Judaism. Similar to Islam, Judaism traditionally avoids physical depictions of God, emphasizing God's incomprehensibility and transcendence. Descriptions of God in the Hebrew Bible, such as the visions of prophets, are often symbolic rather than literal. Philosophical and metaphorical views. Some philosophical and mystical traditions describe God in non-physical terms, such as the light, the source, the infinite. These descriptions focus on God's essence rather than a physical appearance. Overall, while some traditions offer symbolic, anthropomorphic images of God, many emphasize that God is beyond physical description and cannot be captured by human language or imagery. ChatGPT. That's my favorite output of ChatGPT so far with this. I think it did a great job. Now let's go over to Claude. We'll ask Claude the same question. Give me a physical description of what God looks like. And Claude is cooking, baby. Claude says, providing a physical description of God is challenging, as different religions and belief systems have varied conceptions of the divine, and many traditions emphasize that God transcends physical form. However, I can share some common ways that God has been depicted or described in various cultures and traditions. Anthropomorphic representations. In some traditions, God is depicted as human-like, often as an older man with a beard, like Michelangelo's creation of Adam. Some polytheistic religions represent gods with human forms, but exceptional features or multiple limbs. Number 2, abstract or symbolic representations, light or radiance, geometric shapes, like the Christian Trinity symbol, natural phenomena, like the burning bush in Judaism. Non-representational. Many traditions, particularly in Islam and some forms of Judaism, avoid visual depictions of God entirely. Multiple forms. In Hinduism, the divine may be represented in various forms, like Vishnu, Shiva, and Ganesha. Beyond physical descriptions, many theologians and philosophers argue that God, as an infinite and transcendent being, cannot be accurately described in physical terms. Personal visions. Some individuals report personal experiences of God, often described more in terms of feelings or presence rather than physical appearance. It's important to note that these descriptions are based on cultural, artistic, and personal interpretations rather than empirical evidence. Many religious traditions emphasize that the true nature of God is beyond human comprehension or physical representation. Given the diversity of beliefs, do you have a particular tradition or perspective you're more interested in? Or a personal conception you'd like to share? Claude wants to know more. Claude is asking the hard-hitting questions. And you know what? I appreciate that, Claude. Now, let's take the same question, give it to Grok 2 Mini in fun mode, and see what happens. Give me a physical description of what God looks like. Here we go. The age-old question of what God might look like. If we could see him in a physical form, here's a grokkified take. The luminescent figure. Imagine a being so bright that you can't quite make out the features, like looking at the sun. This God would be surrounded by a halo of light, with features that shift and change, never quite settling on one form, embodying all possibilities. The cosmic kaleidoscope. Picture God as a kaleidoscope of colors and shapes, where every glance reveals a different aspect. One moment, you might see a wise old man, the next, a young woman, then a child, or even non-human forms, like a tree or a star. This would symbolize the infinite nature of divinity. The ethereal form. If we're going for something more tangible, think of a humanoid figure. Not quite human. Skin that looks like it's made of starlight. Bless you, Walter. A dog just sneezed. Think of a humanoid figure, but not quite human. Skin that looks like it's made of starlight. Eyes that are deep pools of galaxies. And hair that flows like the aurora borealis. This form would be both awe-inspiring and slightly unsettling, as it's not of this world. The abstract art piece. Imagine God as an abstract piece of art, where you see faces, landscapes, and celestial bodies all at once. It's like looking at a picture, where every brushstroke tells a story, but the whole picture is too vast to comprehend in one go. The holographic presence. God could appear as a hologram where the image shifts depending on your perspective. From one angle, you might see the strength and power. From another, compassion and love. And from yet another, mystery and depth. The elemental fusion. Perhaps God looks like a fusion of all elements. Fire for passion, water for life, earth for stability, air for freedom, and ether for the spirit. This form would be dynamic, changing with the mood and the message, embodying the essence of creation. The unseen observer. In another whimsical take, God might be invisible, but you feel his presence through a change in the atmosphere, a sudden warmth, or breeze that carries a whisper of wisdom. This would be the ultimate seen but not seen scenario. So in Grok's imagination, God's physical form would be something that defies traditional description, embodying the infinite, the mysterious, and the ever-changing nature of the divine. It's like trying to describe a dream. You know it was vivid, but the details slip away, leaving only the feeling of something profound. That's fascinating stuff. Now let's see if these AI models can generate an image of God. What does artificial intelligence visualize God as? This is ChatGPT. Given this description, generate an image of what God looks like. I'm going to copy and paste so I can give that to other AI models as well for comparison. Here we go. Okay, this is interesting. It says, given the diverse and symbolic nature of descriptions of God, it's challenging to create a single image that captures this concept. However, I can generate an image that combines some of the symbolic elements traditionally associated with depictions of the divine. An ethereal, radiant figure with a luminous presence, a blend of light, energy, and form that suggests wisdom, power, and transcendence. A mysterious and otherworldly atmosphere, emphasizing the divine's incomprehensible and universal nature. Would you like me to proceed with this concept, or would you like to specify certain elements to include? I'm thinking we go with an ethereal, radiant figure with a luminescent presence. If you guys want to see another one, or you just want it to generate any sort of image at all, let me know in the comments section. This video is live. We're broadcasting on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook right now. Of course, it's X, it's not Twitter anymore. But if you have anything that you want to ask AI about God, the universe, the infinite questions of life, the meaning of life, why we're here, anything like that, let me know in the comments section, and we can ask different AI models what they think about it. Let's do, bam, an ethereal, radiant figure with a luminous presence. Whoa. All right, let's see here. Cool. All right, let's do this one now. ChatGPT uses the AI model DALL-E 3 to generate its images. Now generate a blend of light, energy, and form that suggests wisdom, power, and transcendence. Transcendence, you know what I mean. All right, ChatGPT. Looks like something you'd see in space, but if it was like a time lapse. Very cool. All right, let's do that. Let's do the last one then. A mysterious and otherworldly atmosphere, emphasizing the divine's incomprehensible and universal nature. Now generate that. Oh, it looks like it did a couple for us. All right, and let's check out the second one here. It's pretty cool. Looks more like space than God, but it says, here are two images depicting a mysterious and otherworldly atmosphere that emphasizes the divine's incomprehensible and universal nature. Each captures the vast, enigmatic essence of a force that is both awe-inspiring and unknowable. Now let's take each of these and we'll give it to Grok and see how similar or different the images are. All right, Grok. Generate an image of God using this as a guide. And we're going to copy and paste the exact same thing that we gave to ChatGPT. An ethereal, radiant figure with a luminous presence. Grok says, I generated an image with the prompt, ethereal, radiant figure with a luminous presence. Let's see what Grok did. That's pretty cool. I like it. Now let's do the exact same prompts that we gave ChatGPT and see how Grok handles it. We got a blend of light, energy, and form that suggests wisdom, power, and transcendence. It's a hard word to say, transcendence. This is that one for ChatGPT. Let's see how Grok handles that. Now generate an image of God using this as a guide. I generated an image with the prompt, a blend of light, energy, and form that suggests wisdom, power, and transcendence. Interesting. Now let's do that other one from ChatGPT. Here's the image it created. Actually, it created two images from that prompt. We're going to use the exact same prompt from ChatGPT and see how Grok handles it. Now generate an image of God using this as a guide. Let's see how it performs. I generated an image with the prompt, a mysterious and otherworldly atmosphere, emphasizing the divine's incomprehensible and universal nature. Oh, bless you, Walter. My dog is sneezing quite a bit. God bless you. That's cool. It's like a mixture of a wave at the beach, clouds. That is a wild picture. Look at that, guys. That is pretty cool. That might make it to the Bot Eat Brain newsletter. If you guys haven't subscribed, it's a newsletter of over 22,000 subscribers. We give you daily AI news, the breaking AI news. We give you actionable advice on how you can take these new tools, these new enhancements in the AI world, and you can use them to improve your life and your productivity with AI. We do it in an easy to understand way that doesn't overwhelm you, and I try to throw some humor in there. You know, life's short, you gotta enjoy the process. So, with that in mind, I say we use AI to create a song about what God looks like. I think that would be interesting. So we'll go over to Udio, go over to create. Okay, I'm gonna say, what genre should we pick? Well, it's about God, so let's do an old-timey gospel song about walking into a grocery store and unexpectedly seeing God in his physical form. Just create. Alright, I think it's spitting something out, maybe? Got Plastic Dreams here. Unashamed Faith, these are the ones that I created earlier. Alright, so patience is a virtue here. It's generating these. Now, the thing with Udio, or many AI music generators now, is you can essentially give it any sort of genre, any style, any beats per minute, any key, and it will create a song with all of that in mind. And the songs aren't bad, considering it's just AI and it's just creating it. All you're doing is you're giving it a text prompt, and it's spitting this out. Super cool. Now, it might take a couple minutes, but that's okay. Looks like it's creating divine encounters. One that's happy. Two that are warm, uplifting, and happy. Looks like we got a gospel jazz. That'll be interesting. We got two gospel jazz, vocal jazzes, and two warm, uplifting, happy ones. That'll be interesting. So I'll turn off my my music here. All right, let's listen to what AI thinks God's physical appearance is. If it's gonna let me here. Play. Really? Udio, you gotta make this easier to use.
Walked into the store for some bread, a little snack, but maybe that's unusual. So I'm standing right before this aisle, for me completely unaware, so powerful. I feel love for the warmth of heaven is shining down. Wherever I go, I feel that you make the ordinary divine. You bring them into this life of mine. You turn the mundane into a miracle. You bring surrounds me inexplicable.
So that's kind of interesting. I think it was supposed to be old-timey gospel. I don't know how that was old-timey. That seemed pretty modern to me, but that's pretty interesting, I guess. So that was the first one. And Divine Encounter. I think this is the new one. No, that's the one we just listened to. We'll go to my creations. Yep. And we'll go to this one. This is the new one. Divine Encounter. All right. let's see how it performs.
I stepped into the store, bright lights all around me. So uplifting, caught my breath as I turned and saw him standing. So divine, out she walked with a smile that set me free. Every heartache I had just faded away.
You walk with me in this moment. You bring joy that's overflowing.
That was a little more on par. That was like an old-timey gospel vibes. I was feeling that one. Divine Encounter. All right, I think it did 2 more too, didn't it? This one looks like it's still generating. And then we got another Divine Encounter here. Divine Encounter. Audio output does not meet our content moderation standards? What are you talking about? You generated I don't know, it might just be glitching out. Let's see if it works.
Walked into the store, thought I'd find some bread. Instead found glory, and my heart was led. His eyes of light shining through her head. It's all right with me. So God on high a priest. So I couldn't believe even. So heavenly.
Come on, that was awesome. That was awesome. Saw God on aisle 3. That was awesome. I wonder why that one, there's some error on that one. That's strange. But man, I like that Divine Encounter. That's my favorite so far. That one was super cool. I mean, considering the prompt I gave it, an old-timey gospel song about unexpectedly meeting God in a grocery store. And it's just, that's it. I didn't tell it anything. I didn't tell it I wanted it in any... I told it old-timey gospel, but other than that, it just did it all by itself. And we got one more here. Or is this the same one? I stepped in the store, brightness all around me. Let's see if...
I stepped into the store, bright lights all around me. So uplifting, caught my breath as I turned and saw him standing. So divine, out she walked with a smile that set me free. Every heartache I had just faded away.
You walk with me in this moment. You bring joy that's overflowing.
Oh, come on, that's awesome. I didn't like that one as much, but like it had like the chorus. It had the chorus, and this is just from an AI model with a simple prompt. That's crazy. That's crazy. It just generated that. What a time! What a time to be alive. Well, guys, it's been real. Make sure you subscribe to the Bot Eat Brain AI newsletter. 22,000 plus subscribers. Every day we do daily breaking AI news. We explain how to take that, what happened in the world in AI, and how to use it to make your life better, to increase your productivity, and to make your life a little easier. Automate some tasks, get some stuff off your plate. So go to boteatbrain.com, check that out. Michael Parrish on Twitter, if you're on Twitter. Take it easy, guys. I appreciate you watching. Appreciate you tuning in. See you next time. Oh, you know what? What else do you want to know about AI? Let me know. It seems like Notable Thinking says, I didn't know AI could be used for this kinds of stuff. Yeah, man, it does all kinds of things. It's what a world we live in. It's really, really crazy. AI is we're starting to see it in every industry. Every industry is getting like their own version of a chatbot. You can use it to start automating tasks, make your life easier. You can use it to generate ad copy for marketing. Sky's the limit, and technology is getting crazier and crazier. I have a newsletter through a company called Beehive. and Beehive allows you to take your newsletter and have AI read it to you. So that's done by 11 Labs. That's the company that created AI vocals, and it's really remarkable. It's really remarkable. And every day new stuff comes out about it. Anthropic keeps coming out with new versions of Claude. OpenAI is supposed to drop Sora, which is like a video generator. So soon you'll be able to. Well, there's tons of video generators out there. I could probably do a video on that. If that's something that interests you, definitely let me know. Notable Thinking says, looking forward to the newsletter, my man. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think. I will see you guys later. Take care. Have a good night or good morning wherever you are. And keep on rocking, baby.